Hey there, so today we have another review, and this is barrel-aged 10 Fidy. This is actually a vintage. This is from October of 2016, so digging into some of the beers in the cellar, I will say that the beer did sort of burst out of the can a little bit, so a little worrying, had to do a little bit of cleanup, but let's dig into this beer. So the beer comes in a beautiful oily black color, wonderful deep brown head on there. 10 Fidy is pretty much the darkest beer you're gonna find on the market, one of the darkest beers you'll find on the market. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have much of a nose. Has a little bit of spirit. I'm worried from the gushing that it might be infected. That sort of with bacteria is going to eat away at some of the sugars. It's going to cause a little bit more of that carbonation, and yeah, it just mostly smells like a spirit, and then like has a little bit of that rusty nail thing. Again, the beer to get familiar with this is obviously Goose Island, Bourbon County. That is the largest scale of infection, and having had at least a handful of bottles of that, sort of that really teaches you what infection tastes like. Cheers. Yeah. I mean, it's not as bad as Bourbon County, and okay, how about this? And I had a sip before I turned on the camera just to check it out, and I've been humming and hawing over this. I'm not sure. This is not as bad as a Bourbon County infection. It's a little exceedingly dry. It has a good amount of spirit character, and the alcohol comes in a little bit. You know what? I'm just gonna chalk it up as it not being infected because it's just not obvious enough for me to really call it out. But then the beer's just so dry, and it really is 12.9%. It's such a bodacious and big beer. And so I'm just gonna say I don't like it. There you go. So maybe I'll chalk that up for infection. I don't know. How about let's not chalk it up to infection because I just don't want to call it out like that. But I will say it sort of has notes of it. And then I'm just gonna say I don't like it. I just don't like this. It's not as good as I mean, I don't know. You can check out my video for it, but this is a superb beer, and it's really just lacking. It's mostly just dark chocolate notes driving. Really lacks a good amount of complexity. It just has a lot of barrel character. It's a little too dry. It doesn't really do much for me. It's a little bit of like a boozy mess, and really the underlying beer is just like not really there for me. The complexity of the chocolate and the malts and the coffee notes are really hidden, and it's just like it's just a big thick beer with really not enough malt character behind it, and then it's just booze, and the barrel character has not really contributed much to it other than spirit instead of a complexity of like coconut, vanilla, and all the notes you're looking for from bourbon. That's what we're gonna say. As for rating, mouthfeel's still pretty nice, so that might be a sign that this is not infected. But just so spirit forward, it's just sort of like falling apart. It doesn't really do much for me. I don't know, the mouthfeel is awesome, so at least you have 10 Fidy there. The mouthfeel is chewy and thick up front, but the flavor just like completely is just not like, it's just all over the place, and it's just a messy beer. And it honestly tastes a little bit like you get a big imperial stout and just threw a little bit of threw a shot of bourbon in there. That's where you don't want your bourbon barrel aged imperial stouts, and the you know, where all the flavors are sort of going together don't really quite work for me. So as for rating, it's a hot mess. You know, this would be not a bad attempt at like sort of a small brewery attempting this, or a homebrew scale, something. I'd be like pretty impressed. It does taste commercial. It's just like not like we're talking like comparing to world-class examples of barrel aged imperial stouts, and this would be something like a style gets a lot of credit for like being highly rated from me. So 83, yeah, B minus. Still these good beer. Let's go with the 82. 82 barrel aged 10 Fidy. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's age, maybe it's infection. Who knows what it is? But I'm just not feeling this beer right now. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Later.